Electricast.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Average is not invited. Not if you're holding your company off-site in Las Vegas. We aren't on friendly terms with the bare minimum, and unenthusiastic is uninvited. Las Vegas's creative energy and world-class hospitality want to bring your company off-site to crazy new heights. That's why fear-based leadership is afraid of Vegas, and boring won't be there, but it will be watching the meeting recordings later. Plan for the extraordinary at vegasmeansbusiness.com.
Welcome to Her Extraordinary Life by Design, where we celebrate women who are shaping their lives one extraordinary day at a time. I'm your host, Leslie Gaudet, self-care coach for women who are ready to make self-care a priority to support them in life and business. Every week, I'll be speaking with inspiring women from various walks of life who will share their personal journeys and will discover how they have fearlessly carved their own paths as business owners, passionately pursuing their dreams and creating a meaningful impact on their communities. So let's get started. Hello, and welcome to our Extraordinary Life by Design podcast. I'm your host, Leslie Gaudet, and today we're talking with Charlotte Howard Collins. Charlotte is a globally recognized business strategist, best-selling author, and media expert dedicated to empowering women entrepreneurs to build wealth and lasting legacies. As the founder of Wealthy Women Entrepreneurs Network, Wealthy Women University, and the exclusive Wealthy Women Inner Circle, Charlotte has made it her mission to help over 1 million women scale their businesses to 7 figures and beyond. With extensive experience in publishing, consulting, and brand application, she specializes in guiding women to launch, fund, and grow profitable ventures, and her expertise has helped create countless successful businesses, and she shares proven strategies that generate financial freedom and generational wealth. I am thrilled to have you join me today, Charlotte. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I am thrilled to be here.
Well, I've actually known you for some time now. I had the privilege of meeting you when we both collaborated on the book anthology, Becoming an Unstoppable Woman, 25 Strategies to Help You Achieve the Unstoppable Mindset. My very first time experiencing publishing, being part of a book, I should say. And that project really for me I really loved that it was all about empowering women. And it really started me down this journey to creating my podcast. And I am really glad that I got to meet you there because when I started planning for the financial empowerment series, your name immediately came to my mind. Like I thought, yes, your background, your expertise, it made it a no-brainer for me that you absolutely are a perfect fit for this series. So I am so excited to get started because I know you're going to really share a lot of gold today for the listeners. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So your mission is to empower over 1 million women entrepreneurs to scale their businesses to 7 figures and beyond. And I think that's incredible. So can you share what sparked your passion for helping women create wealth and lasting legacies?
Wow, that is such an amazing question. You know, Leslie, I come from a background in the beauty industry, and the struggle that I had was not knowing how to build wealth the right way, because like a lot of us, our parents taught us to just, go to high school, graduate, get a job, and then you're on the path to success. So what struck me to start this mission was me being diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome and having all of my eggs in one basket. Being behind the chair, managing multiple beauty industry salons, and then, getting that diagnosis and not having any income outside of the beauty salon income coming in. And so then, of course, I went online to try to find different ways, like a lot of people do, Googling, how can I make some additional income? Because, as being a mom, you want to make sure you're providing for your family. At the time, I only had one daughter, but just being able to provide for her was like really, really important for me. And so I was barely making a great deal of income as a hairstylist. But I've always, of course, been making, I like to say, the company a ton of money, because, as you're working for other people, the people that are going to be the most successful are the owners on the back end. A lot of people don't know about investing in the companies that you're working for. So you can kind of, I like to say, double dip, if you will, to have that money working for you. So with me having that struggle, then I just said, well, goodness, how many other women are currently working for someone else, and they don't know the logistics of how do I make this money work for me. And so that's what really pushed me to keep going, because I knew that I was not the only woman that, at the time, going through a similar situation. Like, how many other people may have had a health issue, or may have had a time where they got laid off from work because a business closed, or someone with more skills came in to replace you. Because if you have skills that are able to be replaced, a lot of times the people that you're working for, they can replace you. And so it's like, well, how do you become irreplaceable? How do you become unstoppable? And so that's what I want to be able to help more women be able to do that.
Yeah, I love how you brought like that whole profit sharing with companies. I never really had heard about that other than the 401k. They talk about the 401k where you can put money in and they match it. But the profit sharing actually of the company, I'd never really heard anyone, any businesses doing that. Only recently have I started hearing more about that. I love the fact that you talk about how women they need to be able to support each other. I feel like that's really what you were saying. You came from an industry, you had to reinvent yourself because of your medical diagnosis took away it really obviously you needed to use your hands. And that's a big deal. And especially either you work through the pain and you continue on, and then what does that do to you long term? Or you find another way to reinvent yourself. I love the fact that you did that. And I think that's exciting that you did that because, I mean, obviously what you're doing now, I think is incredible because you've started all of these amazing initiatives. And again, like as I said, I met you through a book anthology back in 2021. That's we're in the fourth year, so it's just completed 3 years ago that the book actually came out. And you had been part of the publishing part of the aspect of the book, and because of that, you really inspired me from that particular experience on a couple of notes, basically because I saw the strong, powerful, but amazing, kind, supportive, heart-centered woman of color wanting to support other women rather than, being a woman who's in a powerful position and seeing what you can get out of every interaction and not really giving back. And I really, really admired you for that. And then the second piece was you even inspired me asking me like, well, have you ever thought of writing your own book? And, I had thought about it and I can't even remember. I told you the name of a book that I'd wanted to write, but then now as I've progressed through my life and gone through more experiences and really shaped into becoming the woman that I am, I actually have two books that I'm in the works
Okay.
of writing. Yeah. So different than what I originally had thought I wanted to write about, but I really wanted to be able to give back too. So you really inspired me there. And which,
Thank you.
yeah, you really did. And as I said, I really love the fact that being a woman of color, that is something for me, an experience being around other women who are powerful, but also someone who looks like me to also be in that position and who's really doing the things that you're doing. You're actually walking the walk that you talk. And I really admire that about you. I really do.
Thank you so much. That means so much to me.
Well, Yeah, I'm so glad actually got to be able to tell you that today. So I want to talk about how you're creating wealthy women entrepreneurs. You have your Wealthy Women Entrepreneurs Network and the university where you provide women with tools to achieve financial freedom. So what are some key strategies that you focus on to help women build profitable ventures?
Wow, that is such a amazing question. As I continue this journey, one of the things that really helped me, really to help other women as well, is as you mentioned that I have all these different initiatives going on, but each of those initiatives came from one skill that I mastered. And so that one skill, of course, was me being able to share stories. And that powerful tool that I always go to is publishing books. Because when you are able to share your story, it allows you to open so many doors. You get on like amazing podcasts like what you have right here. You get to go on TV, you get to go on tons of different media platforms, whether you're writing as a contributor to add value to these different media outlets. You have an opportunity to do that because the book actually opens so many other doors, to sponsorships, to fundraising, to, so many different things. And so that's always my go-to because that's how I was able to transition from corporate to now being a full-time entrepreneur now for over 28 years. And it was because I took that one skill. And as you're working for other people, you have to think about what are those skills that you're developing as you're continuing this life journey, this business journey, this journey, with others that you're collaborating with, growing with at the same time as well. So, you know, because I was in the beauty industry, I still have my hair artists association, still educating a lot of the beauty industry professionals there. But each of the initiatives that I have, it's because I had different women coming in from very diverse backgrounds asking me, well, how do I do what you do? How do I build a successful business and a life that I'm able to enjoy at the same time as well? And for those of you that are listening in, I want to encourage you to think about and write down what those skills right now that you have over the years that you've developed, and take at least just one skill and be able to write and solve a pain problem that a lot of people are currently they're asking you about it, or may have done your research about it to be able to understand that you're able to help them solve a problem that's currently going on with them right now. There are so many different industries, but there's one you that can now help so many people solve their problems. And more now than ever, you should definitely be considering how you can start generating wealth and building legacy right now while you're working for someone, or even if you're not working for someone. What will that journey continue to be? Like for me, a lot of my competitors in the publishing space, they were focused on just publishing books. But what about giving people an opportunity to share in on the book royalties, because it's a collective, collaborative project, and it's going to be evergreen. In essence, you're building this legacy together, and then taking your royalties that you're wanting to invest those royalties into different stocks, because that's one of the things that I teach women is learning to, yes, you're making money on a job. Yes, you're making money as an author from publishing books and creating courses and all of this. And that is amazing. But let's have the money working for you so that you invest in the top 50 companies right now and choose that, okay, I'm going to invest in this company this week. and be able to have your money working for you. Like for me, while I was behind the chair investing in, again, the company that I'm working for, so not only when it's time for me to exit this company, I'm still invested in the company at the same time as well. So the earlier you're able to invest in these top companies like Apple, like Amazon, like whatever it is that you're already using. I know many of you probably have the Amazon truck coming to your house like so many times, Walmarts and every different store that you're already using their products. Why not invest in these companies and have the money just working for you at the same time as well?
I absolutely love that. Investing in companies that you already invest in, like especially when you're investing your hard-earned money into buying their products,
Right.
investing and using your money, having it work for you as well. I absolutely love that advice. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You're
Now,
welcome.
I know that many women, especially in the entrepreneurial space, face unique challenges when it comes to scaling their business and securing funding. So, what are some common hurdles you have observed, and how do you guide women to overcome them?
Wow, that's such a great question. A lot of times people, when they start their business, they are not properly set up the right way. And so, yes, you might have set up a business, whether it's going on a LegalZoom website or going through a company, and you think that everything is set up correctly. When it comes to building your brand, your business, it's important that you go through all the steps. Have a professional website, not a free website. Get a professional website. These companies, when it comes to funding, they want to make sure that you have a professional phone number. They're going to look on your website. They're going to see a little bit more about what you do. And when they go on Google and they look up your company, it's just good if they see a building, whether it's a virtual address that you're using or something like Opus Office Virtual Center. There's so many different ones that we share within, of course, our Wealthy Women University that everyone that's tuning in can definitely get free access to. And so we put a ton of resources in there so that you know exactly how to set your business up. It's step by step because, again, you have to make sure that you have everything in place when it comes to professional phone number. Of course, you want to make sure you have a professional email, not a Gmail, and all of the different free email addresses. Of course, they have their place, but when it comes to pitching yourself and wanting investors to invest in your company, you need to have those are just some of the key things you want to have. And so we go step by step and have different boot camps and workshops on how they can actually do that. And a lot of these boot camps are free within our community. So anyone who wants to know a little bit more about how to do that, Leslie, I'll give you all of the details too, as well, to make sure that everyone gets access to the Wealthy Women University.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know definitely the show notes are going to have your links so that people can get in touch with you or to even just to see what that would be like to whether it's working with you, whether it's checking out the resources and then working with you, becoming a part of your community. I really feel that they would benefit so much just getting into that space alone. And then again, as I said, your energy is so amazing and you really truly are heart centered, your publishing company heart centered, right?
Yeah,
And I love
absolutely.
that. Yeah, I love that. And I know that is not just a buzzword for you. It's actually something that you live and again, why I thought, yeah, if I want to have someone that would really really provides such great value for this series, especially to empower women this year in the financial space. I definitely wanted to reach out to you.
Thank
So,
you.
yeah, of course. So let's talk about creating generational wealth. For women who are maybe just starting on this journey, what are some foundational steps they could take or maybe should take to begin building wealth that lasts for generations?
Well, one of the common things that I see is that a lot of women, they don't have, like for me, I have multiple businesses. And when it comes to having those businesses, you want to make sure that you have verifiable documentation and everything in place, such as wills and doing a lot of estate planning. And a lot of people, they don't want to get into all of the logistics of that, but it's important because God forbid, when you do pass away, you don't want all of your hard work that you've been working on all this time to just go away when you go. So it's going to be important for you to, if you can, start training your kids or start training someone who knows that are really, really passionate about serving the specific audience that you're already, or create a business that's going to, like, say, for instance, I mentioned, I'm always going back to the stocks because you want to, when you're creating, I like to say these wealth accounts, when you're creating them, you want to make sure that you have your beneficiaries in place, whether that's your husband, whether that's your wife, whether that's your children. You want to make sure all of that's in place because if it's not in place, you're going to have to go through a longer period of time, go doing probate and all of this other stuff. And believe it or not, the government can snatch that stuff away if you don't have the proper paperwork in place for your family to have such a smooth transition when that does happen. So I think it's important to just have those key things in place.
Yeah, so important. Great advice. Definitely making sure that we think of, even though it might sound morbid, but thinking of the end is really, you're setting your legacy up. If you have children or family members, you want to pass it on, or even if you have somebody that you work with in your business and you want to make sure there's a smooth transition of that and there's like no estate issues having to go through that, which could bring a huge hiccup in the business and maybe even financially do something to the business. Like you want to make sure that you have those things in place. I really love that. And also talking to your kids. I think there's no better thing that you can do than to start talking to your kids early about finances, and allowing them to understand like the true value of the dollar. I never learned that until I got much older after really going through a lot of trial and error and making a lot of mistakes because I didn't have anybody to guide me and teach me about money and its value and not looking at it as I looked at it really a lot of the time as not being supportive and that it was as fleeting as, it would come as fast as it would go. And so I never really had a healthy relationship with my money until a few years ago. And I think that it's really important to talk to our kids starting
Mhm.
now so you can really build on generational wealth. So not only are you building that and setting it up, but they're understanding like, okay, this is what mom and dad are doing. And it's important that your kids understand the reason behind that. And they also have a healthy understanding. Okay, if I'm going to take over the reins, I at least have been
Mhm.
educated by my parents, or mom or dad, whoever, or somebody that you're having them learn from. And I think that's important. So thank you. These have been such great answers. I've been loving this conversation. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Yeah. So I want to bring it back to you just for a moment. Your journey, 7 figures in revenue is a significant milestone for any entrepreneur to achieve. So can you share a moment from your journey when you faced challenges in scaling your business and how did you overcome them? Were there any lessons from that you now share with the women you mentor?
Oh, wow. That is such a great question. Okay, so I've had so many different challenges. I've had people take because as you know, with me publishing, I've had people take my information and make it as their own without giving, proper credit. That's why it's important to trademark and do different things. Like it's one thing if someone's paid for licensing, because I do have a right speaking profit licensing program, but it's another thing for people to just steal your stuff and they don't have the right to do that. And so I would say make sure that you protect your assets. Number one, because that was a huge challenge for me. Always have a lawyer on, I would say, on speed dial if you need to get papers done or just need legal advice. At the same time, make sure that those contracts are solid as well. If you are fulfilling products to be delivered, make sure that you are making sure that people know when they can expect those items. If it's outside of your control, be upfront and let them know so you don't have to give them a bad experience. Experience is everything. You want them to have the best experience when it comes to doing business with you. And me dealing with a lot of different clients, I learned that early on. And also, I would say don't hold back and not hire people because you're trying to, especially if you're a solopreneur, trying to do everything yourself. It's so important to, I don't care if it's starting someone with a 1 hour a week, be willing to let people help you because there's no way I can have, because I have over 5 different businesses. My primary business is publishing and really helping. My vehicle for all of these businesses that I have, my vehicle is the publishing. Because of my publishing, I'm able to scale my businesses and help my clients do the same. And so that's my secret sauce. And so, what will your secret sauce be? What skill will you be willing to let go? Because again, there's only so much that you can do by yourself. So, be willing to bring other people into the mix that I would say that are better. They have that mastery level that's way beyond you. Yes, you can learn different things, you can learn different skills, but stick with your skill. Like I'm teaching people how to build wealth, but using my publishing as the vehicle. I keep saying that because I think it's so important. When people see all the things that I do, they're like, well, how do you do it? And then also know that I have different key people that are managing. And yes, they check in with me because I'm the overall person that they have to check in with, of course. But you have to have key people that's able to manage it for you so that you're not all over the place. And I like to say, pulling your hair out, if you will, getting stressed out over stuff that you should not even be handling yourself. Oh, I know that was a mouthful.
No, but I love the answer, and I really love the part of definitely. I mean, everything was amazing, but I think that's for me. Asking for help is for me self-care because it's allowing yourself to free up time and energy that can be spent elsewhere using your unique skill sets doing the things that you love to do. Yes, you're right. We can all learn how to do different things. And especially if you're willing and open to learning and doing different things. But there are people out there who this is the thing that they love to do. So if you can find that person that can come in and support you in the thing that they love to do, which is something that you know how to do, but it's taking up a lot of your time, and they could be the one that just, they can take it. The second part to that is that sometimes we feel like, oh, only I can do it because I learned how to do it. This is my way to do it. However, if you're open to it, sometimes that person coming in who that's their superpower, if you will, could actually have a better way that saves time, that makes the product or the output of something, whatever it is that you have them doing, that much better. And you might not have allowed that to happen if you had decided just to keep everything close to the vest and not allowed that other person to shine. And I think that's what it's like, again, why I love the idea of empowering women. Like this for me is really important this year when I started planning it out for my podcast was how do I empower women from the very beginning, from day one of the new year, right through to the end of the year, to the women that I bring onto the podcast to be able to pour into them. And I've been really super intentional about who I'm curating for each series and episode and what we talk about. It's very important to me. So this is like I guess you would say my passion project. And it's because I really, truly want to be that person who empowers women to live their best lives. And that's by bringing women like yourself onto the show to be able to pour into them and give them really good, tools and things, learning about life from someone else's perspective to spark them to go out and live the life that they've always wanted to live. And by listening to your stories, because your stories have the power to really shape someone's life or change it in a way, change the trajectory of the way they were headed, because you said something that resonated and it was like, oh, yeah, I never thought of it that way. And yeah, this is what I want. And I love that you were saying, talking about stories, the publishing part, getting your story out there. People think, oh, I don't have a story to share, but we all do. And I think sometimes we just don't realize that story that we have can really change the life of someone else, even if it's one person at a time. And that one person whose life you've changed could go on and change someone else's life. There's the ripple effect. There's the legacy starting to form. That's how I look at
Oh,
empowering it,
absolutely. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, just over 3 years ago, becoming a part of that book and just really then becoming surrounded by women who I really started to respect what their journeys were all about, what they were all about. And then finally realizing I want to have my podcast and starting my podcast, which was something I wanted to do, but it was like, oh, do I have the time, and not knowing how it would look. And then realizing this is what I love to do, bring women on and talk to them about their life and what they do. So yes, that was long-winded for me too, but yeah.
Oh, I
So
love it. I love it. And I love that you're helping women to live their best life, because that's important. Because I always say, though, in order for you to be able to enjoy your life, you got to work on yourself first. And when you shared about it was, just 3 years ago. Wow. I mean, so much has happened. Like every year, it's a new transformation that's taking place. We're growing each and every year. We're growing, we're developing, and it's just amazing to see how we're all transforming. That's why I always say we're in a different season. We're in a different chapter. I love it.
yeah, no, I love that. I love it. I love it. So let's talk self-care for a moment. I really truly believe that self-care is the lifeblood to our success in life and business. I truly do. Because when you take care of you the best that you can, you show up as a better version of yourself, not only in the things that you do, but with the people around you and your interactions. So as someone who has guided countless women to success, how do you encourage them to balance growing their business with personal fulfillment and well-being?
Wow. Well, I mean, for me, you have to I carve out time. I would recommend that all of you carve out time every single day for self-care. In fact, before I start my day, I carve out 2 whole hours every single day that's dedicated to me. And that's meditation, that's prayer, that's exercising. I'm reading, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm writing. All of this is a part of my regimen, my ritual, my self care. So I would encourage you to then not say, well, oh my gosh, I just don't have the time. to carve out that, what magic number I would say would be your magic number, whether it's 30 minutes, whether it's 15 minutes, but do it each day because that's going to help you become the best version of yourself. So then that you can start living your best life and you can be unstoppable and build the legacy and the lifestyle that you desire.
Yeah, absolutely. I also will say that self-care is not a one size all fits model.
Mhm.
It has to fit your lifestyle. So again, you might be a mom who has young children in the morning that you're just not able to carve out like a 2 hour period of time. Maybe you are working a corporate position. So if it's only 15 minutes for, again, prayer and meditation, just to get your day started, start your day with a win. And you can and still take care of yourself throughout the day. You can find pockets of time. We often find pockets of time to go on social media and not realizing that
Mm.
it's what we're focusing on. So what are you focusing on? Are you able to actually take a look at what you're spending your time on? Because maybe part of that time could be even binge watching a Netflix series that you're addicted to. And you're like, oh, wow, I only meant to watch one. I've just now watched 3 or 4. So there really is the time, and it's just finding the way to look at how your day looks. It doesn't have to look the same every day. It can, whatever supports you, as long as you're doing something to support yourself. So thank you for that answer. I really appreciate it. So final question. As a media expert and business strategist, what's one piece of advice you'd like to leave our listeners with about using a strong personal brand and media presence to not only create impact, but also drive financial growth and stability?
Wow. I would have to say one of the biggest strategies that you want to make sure that you are absolutely leveraging is relationships. Look, for example, look at you and I, how we're on here, and it's because of relationships, whether your personal life or your business life. Relationships are going to be so crucial for you getting on media platforms and building your brand, but make sure your brand is in sync. Make sure you have all of everything that you want your core message to be. And before you start trying to pitch different platforms to be on as well, and start building genuine relationships. Don't just try to build relationships just because you want to get the spotlight. Be genuine, be intentional about why you're trying to connect with different media outlets and different connections that you're making, whether it's social media or offline, connections as well.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much, Charlotte. I just want to say thank you again for spending time with me and sharing your expertise and your passion for empowering women entrepreneurs. Like I said, I've known you for a few years now. It's so hard to believe how time has passed by. I really loved hearing about your journey, the impact that you have made and are still making, and the strategies you've shared to help women build wealth and legacies. You have such an amazing gift for making big ideas feel achievable. And I know our listeners are going to walk away with so much value from this conversation. So thanks again for being here and for everything that you're doing to support women in business.
Well, thank you so much, Leslie, for having me. And thank you all for tuning in with us. And I look forward to connecting with each and every one of you as well.
Thank you. And to our listeners, if you'd like to connect with Charlotte directly or learn more about the Wealthy Women Entrepreneurs Network or her Wealthy Women Inner Circle, please be sure to check the show notes for her contact information. Remember, building wealth and creating the life that you desire starts with taking that first step and believing in your ability to succeed. You have everything it takes to lead, grow, and thrive. So don't be afraid to dream big and go after it. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep believing, and keep designing your extraordinary life one day at a time. Thank you for joining me on Her Extraordinary Life by Design. I hope you've been inspired and empowered by the incredible stories shared on this show. If you enjoyed this episode and the conversations we've had, I would greatly appreciate if you could take a moment to leave a review. Your feedback and support mean the world to me, and it will help others discover the podcast and join our empowering community. Remember to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Together, we can continue to learn from these amazing women uncover their extraordinary journeys, and be motivated to create our own lives by design. Thank you again for tuning in. Until next time, stay empowered and keep shaping your extraordinary life one day at a time.
Everyone has heard about the U.S. space program, but what is actually going on at NASA? Get the real story in 4 minutes or less with the NASA Daily podcast from Electricast. Join astronauts and researchers as they conduct groundbreaking experiments, work on the International Space Station, and reach for the stars. NASA Daily, your cosmic update.
Electricast. Hey guys, it's Miriam Love here, and I want to share something very special with you. Check out my new release, All In, the Spanish remixes, out now on Electricast Records. And always remember, be love, share love, all love.
Available now wherever you listen to music.